Either one? Good. Oh, thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Burns. I'm CEO of Lordstown Motors, and we've been very fortunate to have the governor and lieutenant governor with us today. Their support means a lot. We're here to really try to grow the region, and we think what we're doing is great for the great state of Ohio, and so I'd like to introduce them and bring them up. Governor DeWine and his wife, Fran, and Lieutenant Governor Jon Husted. Please, yeah. I just introduced you, and thanks so much for coming.
Steve, thanks. Thank you very much. Steve, thank you very much. Stand up here. Well, Fran and I and John are just very excited to be here. This is a exciting day for the state of Ohio. We just got a good look at the future, and I think when you see the pickup truck tomorrow, everyone's going to be very, very excited about it. I know we're very excited. My wife Fran comes from a family of contractors and builders, and you could see your brothers in one of those trucks, right? And all their equipment and all the other stuff that they'll carry around. So it's going to be, I think, very, very exciting when people see it. This is I think a really important day. It's Mahoning Valley, for the Mahoning Valley, and for the state of Ohio. We're proud to be here. I know tomorrow's the official unveiling, and everybody will have a chance to take a look at the truck, and the vice president will be here, and the secretary will be here. But Fran and I and John wanted to come up a day early and really have the opportunity to get a look. So we're very, very excited. John?
Yeah, thanks, Governor. It's
Channel 3 will get me here.
There you go. I was, as we were driving up here today, I was reflecting on the fact that Governor and I had just been elected in 2018, and I got a call on a Sunday night that said that GM was going to close this plant. We hadn't even been reelected, or we hadn't even taken office yet. We were faced with that news, and we knew that we had to have a plan, and we had to find some partners. And so we worked with GM and had great conversations with them over time. And then Lordstown Motors came along, and not only have a new truck, I even have a new mask that I can use for the work that we do. But the truck is just very promising. The technology on this really can be a game changer in electric propulsion, and it gives them a great opportunity to be aggressive in getting into the market and serving customers right out of the box. And for us, the great news is it's going to happen in Ohio. We love the branding of Voltage Valley that we saw in there with the battery plant and Lordstown Motors. This has the potential to be such a great future for the Mahoning Valley in Ohio. Ohio wants to be a big leader in electric technologies and building the platforms and the infrastructure to be successful. And the governor's given us the charge to lead in that space. He is. I've never seen anybody balance more issues in my life than he's had to balance, and we're just really proud to be here today. And we wish Steve and the team at Lordstown Motors great success when they do the big unveil tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I think this really is the future. I think, as we talk to some of the engineers, we talk to the folks that have been putting this together, they're so very, very excited. Ohio has always been a auto state, auto parts state, auto state, and this is really, this is the future. I think this truck really has a great competitive advantage over its competitors. The fact that you all have been able to put this together this quick, I'm just shocked that anybody could do that quick. Part of it is that obviously we have a great facility here. We knew it was a great facility, kept in great order, and so they were able to come in and get started right away. So exciting day. We're happy to answer any questions. We can't tell you exactly what we saw, but we can answer questions about anything else. So.
Governor, in May of last year, when it was announced from the president in a tweet, you had a press conference that afternoon, urged people to tap the brakes a little bit. It's not the day to celebrate just yet. You didn't think this was something that was possible without the postal deal. Could you have imagined today on May 8th of last year?
No, I tell you, this is just absolutely amazing how fast this has happened. Now, I know for people in the Mahoning Valley, it does not seem like it's happened fast enough. But to think how fast that this has emerged, and they will share with you, I'm sure, the number of sales they've already made to fleets. It's absolutely phenomenal. So it's to come from 0 to 120 and in a very, very short period of time is just, I find frankly amazing.
So when you talk about the economic impact of the state, jobs, and all that at a time where the economy needs every shot of economic.
Well, I think we always underestimate, particularly with anything having to do with the auto industry, we underestimate the amount of jobs because the suppliers always come. The suppliers are there. So when you take any kind of plant, any kind of manufacturing, but particularly the auto industry, the multiplier effect is just huge. We know that when you have any kind of manufacturing, the economic impact is so much greater than other kinds of businesses. So it is exciting. Mahoning Valley, I believe, has a great future. Jim Trussell and I were talking about Youngstown State, the great things that are going on there. So I just think there's a lot of good things going on in the valley, and I want to congratulate this part of the state. Frankly, I look at numbers every morning in regard to the coronavirus. Things are fairly steady here. This continues to be something that's a challenge. If we are going to come back as a state economically, jobs go up, we've got to keep the virus under somewhat control. So the linkage of doing the things that we need to do to keep the virus down really is essential. And the most important thing that can be done, frankly, is Ohioans continuing to be cautious, continuing to wear masks when they're out in public, continuing to keep the good distances. So it's imperative for us to see the economy continue to come back, for us to keep this virus down. And the way we keep it down, frankly, is for Ohioans to continue to do the good job that they've been doing.
What sort of expectations do you think people in the area should have for the fact?
They let you up here too? You drove over? Huh?
Only an hour drive. What sort of expectations do you think the area should have, though? I mean, do you think there's a potential for all the jobs here to come back?
Well, this is a very, very big plant. I don't have to tell anybody around here how big a plant it is. And I'm going to let the company talk about what their plans are tomorrow. But there's a lot of room to grow. I'm very optimistic about the future of Lordstown Motors, and I think the Valley should be very excited about this. So yeah, it's going to start, but it's going to continue to grow. So there's a great opportunity, and tremendous competitive advantage of anybody else who wants to be selling a pickup truck, battery powered pickup truck. They were able to walk in with this amazing facility and to get moving very, very, very quickly. And that's just, I think, puts us in Ohio at a real advantage. Very happy about it. I missed the first part of it. I'm sorry. Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
Ohio is looking to collect $60 million from General Motors
You know, we've had an excellent relationship with General Motors from the beginning of this. We didn't obviously like them pulling out, but you know, from the word go, one of the first things I did and Jon did after we were elected, we went to Detroit. We talked to General Motors. All during this, one of the messages we gave to them was the importance of this plant remaining intact, so that it was viable as potentially an auto company. And so that relationship has been a good relationship. It's going to continue to be a good relationship. And we're in discussions, I should say, with them. And what we hope to do is come out as a win-win. A win for them, a win for us. You know, we don't necessarily have to get that cash back, but what we do want to see is things that promote jobs in Ohio. And that's where our real focus is. Jon, I know you've been working on that. Do you want to add anything to that?
Thanks, Governor. Yeah, I've made several trips to GM, both to Washington and to Detroit, to make sure that we're having a good, constructive conversation with them. GM's committed to Ohio. We're committed to GM. They have major investments in Dayton and Toledo. Here with the partnership with LG Chem, they're involved with Lordstown Motors, and we just want to make sure that we're fulfilling the expectation that we had with the taxpayers' money in that conversation, also in a way that's supportive of GM and job creation in the state. Those conversations have been very constructive. We don't see them as adversarial, and we'll get to a place where everybody wins.
Governor, why has the state decided to pursue that clawback when nationwide other efforts it failed? Why was now the time to pursue that clawback?
Well, I wouldn't say pursue is the right word, frankly. You know, it's there. It's what the law says, but you know, we're not actively pursuing a clawback. What we are doing is having a very constructive discussion with General Motors about how, you know, we can turn that into things that are helpful to them, but also mostly important for us, for the people of the state of Ohio. You know, our focus every day has to be on jobs. And, you know, we talked yesterday when I talked about the virus. You know, I look at that from the point of view of jobs, because we can come back. I'm very optimistic. We are coming back. The numbers are moving in the right direction. They won't come back if this virus jumps back up. So there's a real focus on jobs, and that's, as we look at our discussions with General Motors, the primary number one focus is on jobs.
It's not a new thing. This has been part of the calculation and the conversation from the very beginning of our administration. So that we've had constructive dialogue going on the entire time.
Anybody else?
Can you expand at all on why you decided to come out here today instead of tomorrow with the Vice President? You said you didn't want to be near a crowd, but what's the difference between being near a crowd today and being in a crowd tomorrow with the Vice President? Since it is a big unveiling, like you're saying, it's a big moment for the state. It just seems odd.
Look,
don't want to be at the event, or aren't.
Well, I talked about it a little bit yesterday, and quite candidly, Fran and I have not been around crowds, and we're not intending to do that. We've been very careful. You know, I've operated from our home on our farm, on the phone a lot, so we've avoided crowds. A lot fewer people today than there will be tomorrow, and you know, we've worn the mask. I wore a mask the entire trip. The only time I take it off is to talk, because you probably couldn't understand me if I had it on. And as soon as we leave, we're going to get back in the car and we're going to head back home. So I had an opportunity again to talk with the Vice President a couple hours ago, and told him how much I appreciated him coming, and the Secretary. I said it means a lot for us, for you to come to the Mahoning Valley. This is a big day for us. It's a big day for the Valley, and big day for the state of Ohio. I want to say something else about the Vice President. We have calls with governors at least once a week with the Vice President. and other medical people, health people from the White House and the administration. And if you could be on those calls, I think you would find them to be amazingly constructive, where the Vice President is talking Democrat, Republican, governors, doesn't matter. We all have the coronavirus problem. We're all fighting it. We're all trying to be more aggressive, more testing, and doing all the things that we need to do. And the Vice President conducts those calls, he runs those calls, and sometimes they last an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. I always come out of those calls with at least a page, 2, 3 pages of notes to go back to my team and tell them some of the things that I've learned and some of the opportunities that we have to work with the federal government. So they have done a great job, and I'm very grateful. And I want to convey that personally to the Vice President when I called him today, and want to tell him that we would miss him tomorrow, but we're very happy he's here in the state of Ohio tomorrow.
With the other businesses in the area supporting the plant, since they're electric trucks, how might the surrounding businesses end up being different from that?
Well, I'm going to let Lordstown Motors answer that tomorrow. They can kind of tell you how they see things developing. They see a plan, but the one thing that we just know is that when you have a auto company, particularly one that is starting from the beginning, you just see some amazing things that happen pretty quick in regard to auto suppliers, other people who are necessary to make this place work. And as they grow, the other businesses will grow. And the advantage of having them close, one of the things we've seen in the last 20 or 30 years is the whole concept of getting the parts here very quickly. Having them in a close vicinity certainly makes a lot of sense. So
Governor,
I'm very optimistic, very bullish. John?
Can I add something to that? Is that the more trucks they sell, the more prosperity will come. And you asked a question earlier about what's happened. If you look at the capital markets, they're pumping money into this space now. And there are competitors, though, that are out there. And so, getting this launched, getting this out there, getting a little bit ahead of the game with the technology they have, is really going to determine what happens in the big picture over time here. And that's why we wanted to be here to show our support, because the faster they go, the more trucks they sell, the more jobs they create, the more prosperity we have.
Yeah, these are going to be trucks. When people see them, they're going to want to buy them. I mean, they're just going to want them. I know it's starting with sales to fleets, but individuals are going to see this truck and really want the truck.
Governor, to piggyback off that, if people want to support Lordstown, the Mahoning Valley, if they end up fast forward down the road, want to buy these trucks, the one thing that I've heard from people is there's not as many charging stations as gas stations. Is there anything being done on the state level in trying to get more charging stations into Ohio so it's a little more electric vehicle friendly?
Yes, we've certainly have looked at that. I've charged ODOT to really get more aggressive in regard to places that people would have on the interstate. But this is very important. I know John's worked on that some as well.
Yeah, we're absolutely pursuing making sure we have charging stations in all of our state routes. ODOT's pursuing that. We've been in touch with our congressional delegation to get some latitude at the federal level on putting charging stations on our federal highways at federally designated locations. So Governor said, we want to be a leader in this. He's charged the team to do that, and we've been working to build strategies with Drive Ohio and ODOT on that. And that's one of the things we also are discussing with GM. GM, this is a big deal for them. They're building batteries. They're going to be building batteries with LG Chem. We want to be an electric vehicle state, and that's all of those conversations are ongoing aggressively.
Governor, how do you see a company like Lordstown Motors with a GM LG battery plant fitting in with the Drive Ohio mission?
Look, that's what part of Drive Ohio's mission is, connectivity. From a technology point of view, on on the automated driving systems for EVs, electric vehicles, the charging stations. It's about building that capacity in Ohio. We think we're ahead of the game. Michigan's a competitor. Ohio's in the game. We really think that we're a go-to state in the Midwest. You got the Transportation Research Center that's down near Columbus that has all kinds of amazing things on research on automated driving systems, electronic vehicles going on. So Ohio's very well positioned in this space.
Well, we will continue to work with them, see other things that we can do. They're doing very well, they're moving forward, but there's always more opportunity. So I don't have anything in particular, but our attitude has been, since Jim went out of here, what I've consistently said is that we will do whatever we can to get business here. We'll do whatever we can to see it expand. We have a competitive advantage in Ohio that other states do not have. We have Jobs Ohio, and Jobs Ohio gives us a lot more flexibility to help companies. They're very focused, as they should be, on job creation. But we're optimistic. These trucks are going to sell, and they're going to continue to make more and more and more and more of them. And we're here to help in any way that we can. Sure.
If this facility is to hire more people, does this region have the workforce and the job training resources to do so?
Well, I think so. Absolutely. We certainly have a long tradition of doing that. Sure. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah, from Youngstown State to the career centers here, they're geared up to build that capacity.
I will tell you, I think certainly as much as any region in the state, the education community in the Mahoning Valley is, from Youngstown State to career centers, is focused on jobs. It's as much as any place I see in the state of Ohio, there is a real focus. When you talk to Jim Tressel, he talks about jobs. That's a good thing. When you talk at the other career centers around the area, they talk about jobs. They're focused on it. They understand it. They get it.
Our polling data shows that Ohio is a state that Trump won by a fairly large margin, but it's now falling into the toss-up category. Do you believe Ohio is...
I missed the last part. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's now falling into the toss-up category, basically. I mean, do you think that Ohio is a battleground state now?
Well, if you'd asked me this a year ago, I would have said yes, and I say it today. I've always thought Ohio is a battleground state. I mean, this idea that Ohio had turned to be a red state is probably not true. We are a state that goes back and forth historically. That's not going to change. The President won Ohio with a much bigger margin than anybody had predicted. I've always felt that Ohio would be a state that would be competitive. So, no surprise, no surprise.
Are you going to campaign for him this cycle?
I've endorsed the president, and I certainly am for the president, sure.
Are you going to campaign for him, though, if he asked?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to campaign for him, though, if he asked you to appear with him?
Well, certainly. I mean, I've done it before, I've done it in the past. I certainly intend to do it again. Look, the president is focused on jobs. The president, for those who want their vote to last a long time, a president having the ability to appoint not just members of the United States Supreme Court, but members of the district court, circuit court. The president said he was going to do that. We're going to put conservative members on the bench. He has done that. He has done that consistently. He has appointed a huge number now of the federal judges. And so I think that he certainly has kept his commitment there, and his focus is on jobs. So.
Do you see how many jobs this will
I'm sorry?
Do you see how many jobs this production here will create?
No, I can't. I defer to the experts on that, but whatever number they tell you, they also will tell you they anticipate that's going to continue to go up. Okay. Anybody else? Thank you. Well, sure. Last question.
Since today's the seventh day that Ohio has seen a spike more than 500 cases per day, are you attributing this to anything? And there has been a discussion about the possibility that potentially scale back some of the extreme cases that are occurring within the today.
Sure. If you look at the numbers statewide, the number of cases is going up. It's going up consistently for a week. So we are not happy about those numbers at all. Some parts of the state have been hit harder. Southwest Ohio, for example, the Dayton area, the Cincinnati area have been hit harder. But as we open up the economy, it's summer, people are out, they're moving around more. And so for anyone who's watching this or is going to read what I say, if you want the economy to continue to move, if you want to be able to get people back to work, the number one most important thing you can do is to keep this virus from spreading. We have control of this. 11.7 million Ohioans control how fast this virus will spread. So the importance of wearing the mask, the importance of keeping distance, the importance of washing your hands, the importance of just being careful, using good common sense, that is really going to determine how fast this economy can move forward. If we have a spike, if we start seeing different parts of the state where that coronavirus is really going up, won't matter what order I issue or the health director, people are going to pull back, and that's going to be very detrimental to the economy. So what I'm asking the people of Mahoning Valley today, continue to do what you've been doing. If you're out in public, wear a mask. That's what I do. Go into a store, everybody in that store who's working there is wearing a mask. They're wearing it really for you, to keep it from anything from spreading to you. If you do the same, you're being courteous to them, and you're also helping job creation in the state and helping our economy move forward. The other thing that we are doing, we have increased the testing in Ohio. We're now running between 13,000 and 14,000 tests a day. That's a significant increase, but it's not where we want to be. We're working very, very hard to continue to see those tests increase. We have said now, and again I want to convey the message, use this as an opportunity to do it. If you want a test in the state of Ohio, you can get a test. You don't have to have symptoms, you don't have to have anything else. So we have testing sites that are in the Mahoning Valley where people can get tests. We have been taking the National Guard out in what we call pop-up sites in different parts of the state. We're going to be bringing that to the Mahoning Valley, so people will simply have to show up, Fran and I did this yesterday. We took tests yesterday and filled out a little sheet. They did the test. I can tell you that all the hype about how difficult the test is I didn't find that to be true. What about you? You find that to be true? Okay. Anyway, it was not a big deal, and so we just encourage people to do it. Fran and I got our test results back just a few minutes before we got here, and thank heavens they were negative. John, yours were negative?
I'm all clear.
You're clear?
I'm all clear.
But we encourage people to do that because this is the one way we can become aggressive against the virus. This virus only spreads from person to person, basically. It goes from, and if we can cut that off, if we can help people, find out if people are positive, they can then be taken care of, and we can cut that off. That's the way we're going to slow this thing down. So the testing, we got to continue to increase it. We encourage you to go out and get a test. And the final thing to do is wear the mask. And this is how people stay safe. And I know there's some people who think this infringes freedom in some way, but really what you're doing is being kind to your family and your friends and total strangers who you might run into. The distance is important. There's a reason that we are that far away from you all. And the other thing is, that mask just adds that added layer of protection. So, thank you all very much.
Mr. Burns, will you take questions?
Guys.
Hi, Steve. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Great deal. It's all good. All right, good.
Hi, yes.
Steve can take a couple questions. Just a few.
Okay.
Are you going to require the Vice President to wear a mask during his visit tomorrow and have the same health and safety protocols in place?
We're handing out masks to everybody that comes in.
Are you going to require him to wear one though?
I would never presume to require a vice president to do anything.
Has he told you if he's going to wear one?
Yeah.
Masks are highly recommended tomorrow. We're going to leave it at that.
How many employees work here now, and when do you expect that to grow?
Yeah, we have about 70 employees, about 100 contractors currently. We stated that once that's mostly engineers. As we convert in the plant, as we get closer to production, we will start to hire line workers, retrain them for how to build electric vehicles. That's about 400 line workers, 100 for the battery plant, and 100 for the motor plant. So roughly 300 or 400 engineers and 400 line workers and the other 200 that I talked about. That is, the first wave. A lot of people ask me, what's the end game? This is built for one purpose: volume production of automobiles, right? And they used to make 400,000 cruises in here a year. Our goal is to exceed that. They did it with about 5,000 folks, and that's probably about the same number we'll need at the end.
Steve, what does the COVID shutdown worldwide and the reduction of vehicle traffic meant for electric vehicles?
Well, I can't speak to electric vehicles in general. For us as a new entrant, the fact that less automobiles will be sold in America isn't really pertain to us. We're starting at zero and going up, so we don't have old numbers that are going to get worse. COVID has slowed everything down, obviously, but from what we can tell, and it's difficult, but if we are at the end of it, we think we got a good handle on how much it's delayed us. Some of it is, this is a supplier business. Some of the suppliers are a little more affected than us, but I haven't heard anybody come to us that says, we have a showstopper that's going to stop production.
This factory has kind of become, not necessarily the factory itself, but become a very big political point for Democrats and Republicans just because of what used to be here. Do you think that do you think anything is getting lost in that noise over this kind of fight that Republicans and Democrats have had over this? I mean,
from our point, we have received great support from both sides. I mean, either you might support us for jobs. I mean, who doesn't want jobs? Who doesn't want green? Who doesn't want new technology, new learnings for the workforce? So we've enjoyed great support that way from everybody.
last question.
Since you're ready to unveil the exterior of the Endurance, what work remains to design that truck and inside the plant to get that ready for production? What's next?
Well, in car world, you introduce the vehicle as early as you can. You want to make sure you haven't missed anything. Let's say there was a design queue, and we could tool this entire plant to the nth degree, and but if the vehicle, for example, doesn't look good, right, might not sell well. So you want to get, and our vehicle is like no other vehicle in the world, a hub motor based vehicle, right? And it's the first electric full-size pickup truck. So it's a lot of first. We want to get it out early to make sure we haven't missed anything. A lot of people have pre-ordered it without even seeing it. We're expecting that if it meets with people's expectations tomorrow when we unveil it, it will really, really start the ordering process. So you do that first, then you build enough to start going into the crash test wall and into TRC, where Lieutenant Governor Husted talked about that's a durability test track here in Ohio, world class. Start shaking it out, make sure nothing's going to fail out in the field, and as that all works its way out, you get into production.
Thank you, guys. We'll have a lot more to say tomorrow.
Yep. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Oh, you're not. I'm sorry. Okay.